YouTube family and friends. It is a wonderful day to have you back in to talk sports. Today is February the 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. So we have a lot of HBCU sports to talk. And then we got a special guest here that I'm quite excited to bring to the public. And what I want you guys to do is now, I tried to ask a few people at a TSU basketball game to give me some questions to ask this gentleman. But in the event you were not one of them, go to the comment section below and ask me, because I have this gentleman's contact number and I'll be able to get in touch with him and ask him these questions. This is going to be the recruiting coordinator for football for Texas Southern University. So if there have ever been any questions about this recruit, hit me up on the comment section under my book, or you can email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. You can email me there, and I can ask the coach questions that I might not cover today, and I'll have those answers for you the next show. As I always do, anything that I omitted the previous, because we tape every other week. We tape on Tuesday, the show drops on Friday. And I want to thank everyone right now that are jumping on board for the show. My views are going up and I greatly appreciate it. But I'm going to ask you this. I want you to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that bell so that every time a show drops, they will notify you. Okay? So what we're going to do now is start off with some HBCU sports, which you know I always start off with my HBCUs. Let me get my glasses so I make sure I give you the correct information. Okay. As I was talking to my guest a while ago, basketball, you know, I'm here, located right here in H-Town, Houston, Texas, and I am a TSU alum, and so we had a big game here on past Monday, Valentine's Day game. We played Southern University, and sad to say, but I'm not disheartened because with a whole bunch of season left. We're going to make the tournament, and I still feel like we're going to be the team to beat in the tournament. So, but starting off with some news before I give the scores, Grambling State University is in the news again. Head coach Hugh Jackson is in the process of hiring a offensive coordinator, and get this, the offensive coordinator is a past head coach at D1 schools, University of Houston and Baylor University. I'm going to ask my guests about that also. And I want my guests to make sure that I don't forget that. But anyway, I think that would be a great hiring with them getting Art Browse. Art Browse has had just a hell of a time to try to get a job after that mess he was in at Baylor University. And as Hugh Jackson said, that was then, this is now. He said he don't have anything to do with what he did at Baylor, and he just wants his expertise in coaching. Art Browse is a great offensive mind. So that is a big hire that I want everyone to pay attention to, because a lot of times I say on my show, after I've spoken about another show, things that I predicted came true, which is basically how I got into this. My cousin and I were talking sports all the time. His wife, my wife, be saying, y'all need to be sportscasters. Every time I turn around, y'all talking sports. So this is what we do. And I'm going to toot my horn one last time. About 4 shows ago, when the coach Dorsey at PV left, I announced that Bubba McDowell was the interim coach. Go back and look. And I said, you know what? I think Bubba McDowell is ready. He's been assistant coach for 10 years. And I'd be that blasted if the next week they appointed Bubba McDowell the head football coach at Prairie View. So that's just a little something that I try to be on my game, and I want you guys to know that. Going on, supposedly, Coach Prime interviewed for 3 D1 schools, and he's upset that he didn't get the job. That he felt like he was qualified, but he said he's good at Jackson State. And he felt like it may just be in the course for him to stay at Jackson State. And I think so too. The money, quite naturally, no, the money will never be like the D1 schools. But if he can find it in his heart to achieve greatness at an HBCU, he can do it. The world knows Eddie Robinson. The world knows Eddie Robinson, not just people that know the SWAC. The world knows Eddie Robinson, coach at Grambling State University. The world knows Mario Casson, coach from Southern University and Alcorn State. So you can do a good job at an HBCU. You know, you don't do it for the money, you know, because you're not going to get $5 million a year there. So, but anyway, also Jackson State was being sued, getting ready to be sued by Tennessee State because of they were getting out of the Heritage Bowl. Now let me explain this to you. People don't know, well, why would Jackson State sue, not Jackson State, I got that backwards. Why would Tennessee State sue Jackson State? It's about the money. That game brings a lot of money to Memphis, Tennessee, and it also brings money to Tennessee State and Jackson State. But with Jackson State going to be in another bowl game in Birmingham, which I'm going to get over in a minute, it's not really a bowl game, it's a classic. But anyway, Jackson State has now rethought the situation, and they are going to stay in the Heritage Bowl to play Tennessee State. They said that it was a miscommunication, but Tennessee State president let them know there was no miscommunication. You told us that you were going to back out the game, and they didn't want to get back in the game till they got some paperwork that they were going to be sued. So this is what is occurring with the Heritage Bowl. Another, like I say, I cover the SWAC because that's the conference that my school, Texas Southern, is in, and where my heart is, but I cover all of the HBCUs. For instance, Hampton University in North Carolina A&T, formerly of the MEAC, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference on the East Coast, they are looking at being recruited by CAA Conference, Colonial Athletic Association. Here they go, trying to rob us of our HBCU schools. But I understand why they consider it, because it's one more time. It's always about the money. I'll never let anyone tell you it's not about the money. So we can't get mad at Hampton, North Carolina A&T. Now they're going to have to pay their conference schedule, but you can bet all of their non-conference games are going to be against other HBCU schools. But I just wanted to pass that on. It looks like North Carolina A&T and Howard are going to be snatched up by the Colonial Athletic Association. I said Hampton, but it's Howard because Hampton is already in that conference. So they're trying to get Howard and North Carolina A&T in there also. All right, now we're going to go into the SWAC. We're going to go into the SWAC basketball games. I'm going a little fast here because I want to really delve off into some questions and answer sessions with my guest. I'm so glad that he came, and I know he's got other things he needs to do, so I'm trying to get there to him as quick as possible. Let's go with the SWAC scores. And it hurts me to start off with this one, but I'm going to go and get this pain over with first. Last night, February 14th, Texas Southern was beaten by Southern University. So I have to report that. Alabama A&M beats UAPB. Alcorn beat FAMU. Jackson State beat Bethune-Cookman. Prairie View beat Grambling State. Prairie View, I want to let the listening audience know, Prairie View is kind of like in the middle of the pack now, but don't count PV out. Byron Smith is a wonderful coach over at Prairie View. And one thing Prairie View does is play defense. And defense is going to always keep you in the game. And so as you can see now, Prairie View is starting to win. And if you come to the Hill, you know, you're lucky to get out of there with a win. Then you got Mississippi Valley State beat Alabama State. On the women's side, TSU beat Southern. The girls are starting to pick it up now for TSU. Alabama State beat Mississippi Valley. Jackson State beat Bethune-Cookman. It's going to be hard to beat Jackson State. Jackson State got basically their whole team back from last year when they won the conference. So they kind of tough to big deal with right now. You got Grambling State beat Prairie View, and FAMU beat Alcorn, and Alabama A&M beat UAPB. That was yesterday, Monday. Okay? Now, Saturday on the 12th, there's always 2 games being played before I see you guys. So, on Saturday, TSU beat Grambling State, which was on NBA TV. Great game, great atmosphere. I was really happy that the students and the fans showed up for the game. Bethune-Cookman beat Alcorn. Alabama A&M beat Mississippi Valley in 4 overtimes. So Valley is right on the crust of trying to get it turned around. UAPB beat Alabama State. This is men's scores. Prairie View beat Southern. A big victory for Prairie View. I think that is going to catapult Prairie View into winning a whole bunch of games. Thank goodness we beat Prairie View already at Prairie View. They have to come to TSU now. Jackson State beat FAMU. Looks like Jackson State has found itself. Bethune-Cookman, as I said, beat Alcorn. They are starting to win. Now, Saturday, not last night, Monday, Texas Southern beat Grambling State. The girls also were on NBA TV. Alabama State beat UAPB. Jackson State beat, who did Jackson State play? FAMU. Bethune-Cookman beat Alcorn. Prairie View beat Southern. And Alabama A&M beat Mississippi Valley. So those are the scores from Saturday and Monday. And as I always tell my listening audience, go out and support one of your HBCU schools. If you're in the area for the upcoming games this Saturday, which I'm going to give you in a moment, go out and support them because the schools really need the support. One more time, we need the money to help sustain the programs. But the kids deserve to have someone in the stands also seeing them, letting them know that, hey, you can have a wonderful career at an HBCU. So if you get an opportunity, as I always say, go and see one of these games. Saturday's game is going to be, Saturday's game is going to be Jackson State at Alcorn. It's going to be a barn run. That's a rivalry game. Prairie View is going to be a UAPB. And the women will play also at these games prior to the men. TSU is going to be at Mississippi Valley. Alabama A&M is going to be at Bethune-Cookman. Alabama State is going to be at FAMU. And Grambling State is going to be at Southern. Going to be a barn burner there. Grambling needs to beat Southern. Heck, we want Grambling to beat Southern to get us back tied up with Southern University. So those should be some good games. If you're in the Baton Rouge area, go to that game. Alabama State at FAMU. If you're in Tallahassee area, go to that game. We got a lot of kids from Jacksonville, Florida, that I even went to school with, and still Jacksonville, Florida, sends a lot of kids to Texas Southern. So if you're in Jayville, go up to Tallahassee. You got Alabama A&M at Bethune-Cookman, TSU at Valley. We got some kids up in Mississippi that show up for the game. So if you can, get in Itabena. Prairie View is going to be at UAPB. Arkansas Pine Bluff. Jackson State is going to be in Alcorn. So those are games that we think that if you have an opportunity, please get to. Quickly, the standings. Southern is in first, 10-3. TSU, second, 9-4, along with Alcorn, 9-4. FAMU is 8-5, and so is Grambling State. So you got a two-way tie in third. Then you got a log jam for fourth, JSU, Alabama A&M, Prairie View are 6-7. Now that's the top 8 schools. And that's who goes into the tournament, the top 8 schools, as of now. On the women's side, you got JSU 13-0, as I said. They got their same squad back from last year that won the SWAC last year. Alabama State is 9-4. Prairie View is 8-5. Alabama A&M is 8-5. Southern is 8-5. TSU is 8-5. So you got a log jam of 4 teams in second place. You got Grambling State, 7-6, and UAPB. That's the top 8. That's all that goes to the tournament. Okay. moving on. We're going to talk about the NFL. Right, naturally, the biggest game in football was played this past weekend, the Super Bowl. And as I said on one of my previous shows again, I know everyone thinks I'm trying to toot my horn, but I'm not. The Rams played their first playoff game. I forgot who it was with right now without looking at my notes. And they destroyed it. And I told people right then, I said, if the Rams play like that, can't nobody beat the Rams. You got to score 25, 30 points to beat the Rams, and that's going to be hard to do against their defense. And so the Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20, but I must admit, that was closer than I thought. I thought Cincinnati would kind of actually get beaten by 10 or more points, 15, 20 points. It was a pretty good game. And the MVP for the game was Cooper Kupp, a wide receiver. And me and my cousin, we always sit around and talk, and a friend called me along with him, and we were like, and I'm going to ask Coach, how can a player always be open? I mean, the number one receiver for this particular team, the number one receiver in the playoffs, and every time you see the ball get the cup, Cooper Kupp, and it's like, there's nobody around him. I'm like, how can this guy be free all the time? Maybe Coach is going to explain it to us how he can get free like that. But anyway, he was the MVP. I thought Aaron Donald should have been, but hey, you can't argue with Cooper Kupp. He called a couple touchdowns, and he called the game-winning touchdown. And the Rams' defense was just a beast. You know, that's what had me thinking it was not going to be a contest. And they eventually, the second half, decided to take over. But I must give the kudos out to Cincinnati. The Bengals played. They got something to work on for next year, their defense. The offensive line looks a little poor, but the Cincinnati Bengals got a nice squad. And moving on, the Texans named Lovie Smith as the head coach instead of Brian Flores. And I think some shaky is going on there. Lovie Smith was not even trying to be a head coach. And so when you got people you've interviewed to be head coaches and news dropped that the guy that you think you want because he had the NFL experience said that, hey, I'm getting ready to sue the NFL, which includes the Texans owner. And I think it's a good old boy network with those owners. Everybody thinks the NFL commissioner runs football. He doesn't run football, the NFL owners, because that's who he works for, is the NFL owners. He doesn't run anything. So Lovie Smith became the head coach just like that, which was like, don't get me wrong, Lovie has credentials, but they weren't even looking for Lovie. My point in stating all this is that I think that something shaky going on. They didn't do Brian Flores. But Lovie, I think, is just a stopgap because Culley, one more time, I talked about this, it didn't make any sense to them firing David Culley because when they hired him, they knew they had nothing. And this guy still won 4 games. And they fired him anyway. So I don't know what Lovey got to do to win the conference to keep his job, I guess. But I think they're trying to get this other guy, I can't think of his name right, ex-quarterback, Gowan. No experience. Had him in twice for interviews. Almost hired him. So I think something's going on shaking right there because Eric Bieniemy, who is like the top offensive coordinator in the NFL, can't get a job. I'm not going to start on that because I'll be talking 40 minutes on that. But anyway, Eric Bieniemy still did not get a head coaching job. Tom Brady decides to retire, if you believe him, because Tom Brady might change his mind. And Deshaun Watson, I think, is what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are picking to try to be his replacement. So we're going to go on to NBA. Last subject before we talk to Coach. I am happy to announce that the NBA always is in front in regards to HBCUs and black-related matters. The NBA has just announced that it has a HBCU fellowship program. And what this will do is provide career opportunities and development around business and operations of the game. In other words, you won't have to be a basketball player to get a nice position in basketball. if the NBA has anything to do with it. And one more time, the NBA sponsored Texas Southern and Gramblin's game. They sponsored FAMU and Texas Southern game. When I say sponsored, they televised it. Okay? And they also are going to do this. The first ever NBA HBCU Classic is going to be in Cleveland. It's going to be Howard University versus Morgan State. Okay? So that's just a little shout out to the NBA. Top 8 teams, because once again, those are the only teams that make the playoffs. Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers, the Bulls, the Celtics, the Raptors, and the Nets. In the West, you have the Phoenix Suns, who I think right now is the best team in the NBA. You got the Warriors. You got the Grizzlies. I think is the number 1 up-and-coming team is the Memphis Grizzlies. They have a young man that that all you have to do is keep watching the NBA and you're going to know who Ja Morant is. Just an explosive, dynamic player. You got the Jazz, you got the Mavs, you got the Nuggets, T-Wolves, Clippers, or the 18. And I know I was only talking about the 18, but y'all know I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm going to talk about my Lakers. They're in 9th place. They might can make it. I don't have a lot of expectations for them this year, but hey, we're in 9th. Okay? So I think that is basically going to do it. And without further ado, what I want to do is, ladies and gentlemen, bring aboard the recruiting coordinator for TSU football, Coach Wilson. Coach Wilson, we want to welcome you to the show.
It's good to be here.
Okay. And I hope you all are looking at this gentleman, because me and my production crew looked at him and thought like, okay, this is not, I wasn't looking for the high school coach to show up. This guy looks like he just got out of high school, but he is the recruiting coordinator at Texas Southern. How long have you been over at TSU?
This is going into our 4th year.
Fourth year.
Came with Coach McKinney when he got here, and so we're excited going to year 4.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do initially, Coach, is give a little bit on your background, where you came from, where you went to school, and what your duties are at Texas Southern. Because I just mentioned recruiting coordinator, but I'm sure there's something else. Go ahead.
No problem. Originally from Arcadia, Louisiana, small town, right outside of Grambling. Matriculated there, and then obviously went to Louisiana Tech University, got an undergrad degree, got another master's degree from Louisiana Tech,
great.
and then got a master's degree at Grambling State University. Got right into coaching right out of high school. Began coaching at my alma mater, Arcadia High School.
Time out. I don't generally interrupt my guests, but I want you guys to listen to this. So you started coaching right out of high school, college ball?
No, I started coaching right out of high school. Started coaching high school, so I started coaching at my alma mater, Arcadia High School. So I was offense coordinator there for 4 years before I moved over to Woodlawn High School. Became an offense coordinator there for 4 years, and then I became the head coach at Woodlawn.
How old were you?
When I started coaching,
Right.
When I started coaching, I was 19. So I was actually.
Tell my listening audience how that got started.
Well, it kind of got started. It kind of a little bad news, I would say. Was going to Louisiana Tech to play football. Found out I had a heart murmur at that particular time. When I got a second, third opinion, and indeed I did. So football came to me quicker than obviously than I wanted it to.
Okay. Man, that is super fantastic. Yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. And that's applicable for anything in life. And this gentleman is living proof right here. Go ahead and finish talking about where you're from and where you got to Texas Southern and what your job duties are. I'm sorry for interrupting you,
problem.
but I want everybody to hear that. When I heard that listening artist, he started coaching when he was 18, I'm like, wait a minute, you hadn't even finished college yet at 18, so he explained to you how you got into that. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Again, became head coach obviously at Woodlawn, and we had a couple of players. That's kind of how I met Coach McKinney. Coach McKinney was coaching at Texas A&M at the time, and we had a couple of players assigned there. And we built a great relationship. And so when he got this opportunity, I texted him, hit a few texts. It didn't work out initially, but opportunity came available, and I jumped right in. So I'm glad to be here. I coach the receivers as well, so it's been a pleasure.
Receivers coach? And,
yes, sir.
Okay. Where do we stack up on receivers? Are we well stocked, or should our receivers take it? I could notice that the latter part of the season, they started to take off a little bit. Or How are we at the receiver position?
I think we're pretty deep. To be honest with you, we want to play about eight to 10 guys, and I think we have that. And so we only lost 2 guys that had a lot of experience, Jonathan Giles and Keelan Davis last year. So we replaced those 2 guys with what we think are very, very quality high school football players.
Okay. That were already there, or you bringing some in you think may see the field?
We bringing 2 in. We think going to come in and contribute and come in and compete right away, and we're going to play the best at the end of the day.
Don't give their names because I saw their highlights and I'm going to mention their name and I want you to say, see, because I think me being an ex-football player that I got a football eye, and I'm going to see if Coach thinks I have one or not, and see if he and I are synced in on the same player. Okay, so let's go over these players, and I want to let my listening audience from TSU, my alumni fans, know that I am quite excited about what they have picked up. And let me see, I got the names here, and I'm going to give a name, and then I'm going to have Coach expound on them. Coach Isaiah Bogarty.
Bogarty is a guy that's right here in Stafford, a guy that played up and down the defensive line, a guy we feel there's a hybrid defensive line that can go from the front line to the back to the second level and play linebacker for us in the new defense that we're going to be playing. So we're excited about that.
What we going to?
I don't want to give out too many details.
Okay. You see me, I jump right on that,
I
man.
knew you were gonna do that, but we're excited about where we're going with our defense, and I think it'll definitely lead to results in the fall.
Oh, fantastic. You know, I saw the film public family on this kid, 6'4", and this kid, if I'm not mistaken, is all state.
Yeah. He's definitely a great high school football player that we feel like can come in and contribute.
And he's going to linebacker?
Yes.
I have a little story that I have a friend that when we played ball in high school, and back in the day, this guy about 6'3", just like Lorian, he was defensive line, and teams just ran from him. Our coach finally, like middle of our senior year, stood him up in the middle, and linebacker, sideline to sideline. And that got him to Grambling.
Right.
Yeah, he played with Grambling. And then he played with the Cowboys. He played with Grambling, and he went to the Cowboys. But that I thought about my homeboy when I saw him. Defensive lineman, y'all moving the linebacker.
Right.
I don't know if he got the speed, my homeboy was fast. So is this kid kind of fast?
This kid definitely has some twitch to him, so
Okay.
we're excited about it.
Good. Okay, I got Thomas Brown, offensive lineman from Shreveport. Is that you?
Yeah, that's a kid that actually played high school ball for me when I was at Woodlawn. Initially went to Prairie View, playing defensive line actually, and we actually faced him at 19. So he's a very athletic guy that can play on both sides, and we're going to use him on offensive line. So we're excited about it.
Oh, so this kid is already out. He's not a freshman.
No, he's matriculated a little bit. He played at Prairie View and then went to Southern and Shreveport and played, and then obviously he's coming to us.
Fantastic. Yeah, that means he got experience.
He got experience, yes, sir.
Okay. And then I like the fact that you're taking a D lineman and making him an offensive line, put some dog on that offensive line, because that's going to lead up to this other gentleman where he's about 2 down. What about Dennis Jones, offensive lineman? Now, I saw him in the state, because I go to Dallas every year for the state football playoff.
Right.
And when Dallas Southfield Cliff fans, they won state. What a little bit about Dennis Jones?
I mean, anytime you can get an opportunity to bring in guys that have competed and won a state championship, I mean, I don't think you can put a price tag on that. So he's a guy that won a state championship at SWAC, and a guy that we feel that can come in once we get him into our program. He can come in and play up and down the line. So we're excited about it.
6'6", 340. I'm talking about where's the beef? Where is the beef? Okay, then we got Jakata Lanier, offensive lineman, 6'2", 310, Dart City.
Yeah, Jakata is a strong kid that works and is very athletic. If you watch his Twitter, you see how athletic he is. He's a guy that we feel that can come in right away and compete.
Wow. And
could possibly be competing, if not playing, in some type of starting role on Labor Day Classic. So we're excited about where he is, and we're excited about him being able to come in and compete right away.
Okay. Did we lose any offensive linemen?
We only lost Nathaniel Hines, so he's the only guy we lost. So we're just we're trying to we signed some guys that obviously we want to increase that depth in the trenches.
And it brings about competition.
No doubt.
Ooh, brings about competition. I'm excited. You see, I'm getting excited. Well, when I saw their highlights, I said, "Ooh, we need this." Trenton Leary, wide receiver, 5'9", 160. this is another thing. You see, I got to start by certain people's name. This is another thing I think we're missing. Somebody that if they touch the ball, hold your breath because you don't know if he's taking it to the house or not. That's what I saw on film. So am I right?
Yeah, he's electrifying. He's a guy that our offensive coordinator loves. He's happy to be able to get his hands on him, and we're excited about getting him here. He's a guy that went for 1,000-something yards receiving his senior year, and so he's a guy that they actually played on both sides of the ball, in the championship game. So he's a guy that we feel that's going to come in and bring depth and be able to replace those guys that we just lost in the receiving corps.
Now, I can see him as a slot receiver. He's going to do more than just return kicks and punts, right?
Definitely. We like to move our guys around, so we won't, we'll try to put him in one spot to start and see if that's where he finds his home. But at the end of the day, we're going to put him in the best situation so he can be successful, most importantly, so we can be successful as well.
But more than just a punt and kickoff.
Right. No doubt.
And this guy was like, oh, man, this is what everybody got to have. Jackson State had one. I'm trying to see somebody. I think Prairie View had one. If you kick that ball to him, if you're not going down that field, it's going to be 40 yards back down the other way. And so we got Tedrick Mathis. Now this is who I was like interested in because he was not only blocking people. When he blocked them, he was smashing them.
Right.
And I'm talking about. What do you think about that kid?
He's a local kid. A local kid that played at a quality program at North Shore. Another kid that won a state championship, and so anytime you get to bring those kids in, he's a guy that brings some depth, brings some value, and a guy that's gonna come in and compete, and hopefully he'll find his home. So
yeah. Do y'all have high hopes for him? Other than you have high hopes for all of your recruits, but this guy in particular.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, he's a local guy, so anytime you get an opportunity to get local kids, you want to make sure you wrap your arms around them, give them the best opportunity to be successful, and that's what we're gonna do with not just him, but all of them.
Okay. Then I got Reggie Neal, 6'6", 355, DeSoto.
Yeah, so he's originally from DeSoto, played at East Central last year, D2 ball, and transferred here. And we're a guy that's already on campus working out, and he's a guy that's he's every bit of what you just said for real. So
yeah, I see you smiling, Coach. You got me smiling, and I'm telling. Body don't need but just a little bit of help, and I think all these guys on that offensive line, woo. And Tajrin T.J. Turner, this is the guy, people, that I was holding out for him when he was saying who you think gonna hit the field. This kid, just looking, one more time, I'm just looking with the naked eye because things can change once he gets to a college campus and see these other players and these people just as big and fast as he is, but I'm excited about this kid, 6'3". What do you think about him?
I'm excited about him as well.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Our whole offensive staff is excited about him. I'm excited to coach him. Comes from a good family and a guy that we found in the latter part of the ninth hour, and a guy that we were very excited about.
I saw him. I said, how did we get this kid 6'3", fast? He was going deep on
I had to rewind the tape a couple times to make sure it wasn't sped up, but he's every bit of what you see on tape. So.
Oh, and one more time, family. I try to do good for you all because, and one more time, I know body's in the past, but I told you all before the season started, I think we got a jewel. And I'm saying that's about these three people here, the same way with Coach Bogarty. And don't get me wrong, I'm not demeaning the other guys if I don't call their name, but I was just saying these are guys that I was looking at that could possibly help right away. These other guys may help right away too, but Bogarty, 6'4", and you're gonna put him at linebacker. Good God, you got Trenton Leary, Tyreek Hill Jr. You know what I'm saying? One of those type players. He's not there yet, but but I'm just saying he that's what I thought about when I saw him. And then you got T.J. Turner. Good God, I can't wait for this guy. Let's go, Quentin Cook.
Quentin is a guy from New Iberia, Louisiana. A guy that's very big. A guy we feel like can play, up and down the defensive line. He's very big, strong guy, and he plays blocks well. Understand the position, most importantly, and a guy that Coach Caesar's ready to get his hands on.
Good deal. Charles George, 6'3", 205, safety. Detroit.
Yeah. Shout out to Sound Mind, Sound Body. We found that kid, went to a recruiting event up there this summer and saw that kid, and we were all in at that point, and I couldn't wait to get him back in front of our staff so they could see him, and got that kid out here on a visit. Their family loved it, and he's a TSU Tiger, so we're excited to have him.
Now, Coach, you said that you went out to a tryout type camp type thing. Is that something that's on your radar already, or did someone tell you, man, you need to get up here and check this out?
So the big thing is up there. There's not HBCUs based on
Right.
there's not HBCUs, so they're very interested in coming to the HBCU. Detroit has been very good to us. By the way, we had Donnie Corley, Tim Walton, guys like that. So Detroit has been good to us. So for us to get up there, it was a great opportunity for us, and we got there and Sound Mind, Sound Body put on an event where they had a lot of HBCUs there, and we were able to evaluate a lot of kids, and he was one of those kids we evaluated, and we got him to make him a TSU Tiger. So
now, what you saying there were a lot of them there, so did he pick us over some others?
Well, I mean, other places did like him, did evaluate him, and obviously he's a TSU Tiger. The rest is history.
Yeah. But I see that. But I was saying so off the top of my head, Howard was there or somebody.
I don't remember Howard being there, but I mean, you had Arkansas Pine Bluff there. You had Alabama State there. You had a lot of other schools in our league that were there, and so it was a lot of coaches there. So it was a good event.
Yeah. Oscar Gordon III, the quarterback from Austin LBJ. I saw him up in Dallas when in the state playoffs. So you can't beat having a capable person behind their starter.
Correct.
And that's why I was telling that guy, because that guy was telling me, man, he's not good. I said, well, I'm not saying we ain't gonna worry about his good body. We need a body might get hurt.
Right.
We need somebody, if he ain't as good, he's just as good. You know what I'm saying? And this kid has taken his team to playoff twice.
Right.
So what do you think about him?
A great quarterback to have. Left-handed guy that's obviously, again, competed for a state championship. They lost in the state championship, threw a lot of touchdowns to Trent and other guys they have some more young receivers on their team, and he's a guy that we feel that can come in and compete, and obviously push, as he pushes body, then we ultimately get better as a team.
Right. Oh, I'm happy about it. Nahamani Harris. 6'2", cornerback, San Antonio.
Yeah, he's a kid that's already working out. He's already here on campus looking good. He went to a postgraduate school up in Connecticut, and he finished high school at Cornerstone in San Antonio. But he's a guy that's already working out and going to bring some depth and quality depth to that cornerback room.
I like that height and what have you. Only thing I had about us, Prairie View beat us last year, Coach, on 3 big plays. 2 of them were bombs. And I'm just going to tell you what we were talking about up there. We was like, why are our cornerbacks getting beat, like just running right by them? Was it lack of technique or speed? Because we were sitting there saying we need to get some cornerbacks with some speed. That might not even be what the problem was.
I mean, anytime there's a big play, whether it be on offense or defense, it's 3 things. It's either a scheme, good play call. It's a player issue, or it could be just a coach issue. So I mean, at the end of the day, we don't hype in the past. We're excited about.
For sure.
We're excited about where we're going. We're excited about what this year will bring for not just for our team, but for everybody in TSU Tiger Nation. So.
Okay, now on the speed side, everybody. I don't have to have any numbers or anything, but these kids are fast enough to beat cornerback. In other words, you don't have a cornerback that y'all thinking about doing safety, because I only have like 1 safety that I'm showing.
Right. There are some other guys that we're going to attack. Obviously, we want to make sure we bring in quality high school guys. We're developing our program. That's what we're going to put our hat on. So we want to bring in quality guys, but I mean, everybody has been evaluated by our entire staff. So it's not a one-person show.
And I like what you said just then, because in talking with some other guys, they be asking me, ask them, Larry, if they're going to do anything about D1 transfers. And I told them, I said, hold up. I said, hold up. I say, you can be good just on bringing high school players in.
Right.
And the thing about that is they get to coach them up the way they want to coach them up. You see, they got them for 4 years. Right. They can do it. So I'm not mad we don't have no D1 players.
But here's the thing I'll tell you. Since our time here, we've always had D1 transfers before it was a thing. And so a lot of people just don't look at it. It's not it's not put on display because we're not harping on it. At the end of the day, we're trying to bring in the best available player into our program that's going to fit into our program.
Right, right. Because I like it. I like it. I like the fact that we're getting these young kids. Tanner Hatton, it's long snapper. Guys said scholarship. I said you got to have them.
Yeah, you got to have that. We had a few botches last year on special teams.
Yeah.
So special teams is important. There's 3 phases, and it's probably one of the most important phases, if not. But we got to make sure we get that snap, and he's a guy that's coming in with a lot of experience, and a guy that's going to be able to come in and play right away.
Okay. Umar Yari, linebacker from Sugar Land, 6'1", 230, got good size.
Yeah, another guy that's 1 year out of high school, like Nahamani, that has played at a postgraduate place in Myrtle Beach, and went and got that experience and came back home. And Coach Matthews, our linebackers coach, can't wait to get his hands on him. So we're excited about him and his ability to move, and just seeing him, this morning as we're doing the 6 a.m. workouts, those guys are going to be able to come in and help us right away.
Okay, Coach. Now, I've asked you a few things here that I was looking at. Now, expound if you can for just a second, then I'm just going to ask you just to talk about the team and where you see us going. Darren Garrigan, assistant coach, cornerbacks. What you think? What you know about him?
Coach DG is a guy that's going to coach the heck out of those corners. He's a guy that loves to get out and challenge you. He loves to challenge his players, and he's going to bring the best out of them. I've seen him coaching at different places when I was a high school head coach, and he's a guy that's going to bring a lot of value to the staff.
Where was he most recently at?
Most recently was at UIW in Corner.
Oh, okay, in Corner.
Yes,
Okay. Larry Warner, assistant coach, running back, special team.
Yeah, great energy guy. Another great energy guy, going to bring value. Guy that understands how kids learn, and he's a guy that I can't wait to get to work with, and we've been working with already. But he's a guy that recruited some of my kids when I was in high school, so we had a prior relationship, and I'm excited to get to work with him.
Now, you're also the recruiting coordinator, but what was your other title?
Receiver coach.
Receiver coach. Okay, so you know the receiver. Okay, family, we've gone over the new recruits. Now I'm just going to ask Coach just give us his thoughts and ideas on where Tiger football is headed, so that Tiger Nation yourself can anticipate and know what's coming. Go ahead and just talk as much time as you need to talk about it.
The biggest thing is when we got here, we understand there's 2 reasons people get jobs. The previous staff did a great job, and they went and got a better job. And the other one is the not so good. So we know what we inherited, and those guys, I'll be honest with you, brought in some quality players, but they lack depth. And so what we wanted to do is come in and attack this deal and bring in some depth. So as long as our ones are playing, we're good. But what about when those ones go down? So that's what we're about. We want to make sure that the drop off is not as dramatic as it is when that next guy is in. So we're excited about where we're going after this many recruiting classes. We're excited. We're excited to get to work in the fall, and hopefully we're competing for this championship.
Coach McKinney told me something. I was all over in my first meeting. I'm like, Coach, we this and that. He said, Rose, so you just don't know what we had. Now, this was off camera, but what we had when we got here, he said, it's hard to win when you got one of my starting cornerbacks went down in one game, he said, and you probably were here. You've been here since he's been here. Then the other cornerback went down, and safety went down. He said it was 3 walk-ons on the field. I said, it's hard to win, Coach, with 3 walk-ons.
It was tough, not just walk-ons. I remember that year in 19, us playing some receivers, not just at receiver, but at DB as well. So the depth issue was definitely an issue. So.
Right. What is your prediction, Coach, on where we headed? Let the family know, the TSU family know what you think our accomplishments could be this year.
Well, I mean, our goal, as every team should be, is to play for the championship, and that's our goal. Everybody looks at the measuring stick of, Jackson State being that they're the team that won it last year. So obviously, if you look at it, we're 21-21 going into the 4th quarter. And so we had our opportunity. So we feel like we were a couple players away from being where we need to be, and we feel like we went out and got those players. So we expect to be competing for the championship.
Yeah, I like that tone of voice, because when I had Andrew on, I asked him what he foresee. He said, almost, bro, we looking for the championship. I just stopped right there. I said, you see what I'm talking about?
Right.
winners, you have to have winners.
Right.
You know, he's not talking about if we do this, if we able to do that, if we can get this player. No, he said no. We going out to play for the championship, and I like that, Coach, because it's been a minute, and I know people talk about us as supporters of TSU, but I can promise you one thing. If we get this turned around, trust me, you're going to see maroon and gray and white all over. All you need to do is just go watch some film from 2010 when we were winning.
Right.
And I tell people commuter schools, there's just so much to do in big cities that if you're not winning, it's hard, you know, to get them to come.
Right.
And even D1 schools have this problem.
Right.
You know, like University of Houston have this problem. If they're not winning, they not gonna have anybody over there.
Right.
You know.
We definitely understand that.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. And so
that's what we're doing. We're building a program that everybody in Tiger Nation is going to be very excited to watch and support. So
I just want to let you know that. I know you coming from Grambling. They're not like they were back in the day, but they still have their following. And trust me, you hear negative things about us, but if you win, trust me, you're going to see the maroon somewhere. You can travel and you're going to see the maroon.
Right.
You're going to see the maroon and gray. I had mentioned earlier during the show about Art Browse being recruited to become the offensive coordinator at Grambling State. And Hugh Jackson saying what was in the past was in the past, and he's worried about the future. And I think that he's not going to be anything but a positive for him if you get him. What do you think about Coach Browse?
I've actually met Coach Browse. He recruited one of my players, signed one of my players, and that player is playing for the Green Bay Packers right now. So as a football coach, I mean, I know Coach Browse a little bit, and you know he's done nothing but good things on the field. So
okay, you anticipate Coach Browse to be very positive influence for Grambling State?
Not sure. I mean, it's yet to be determined, but I know he's a heck of a football coach, so I know that, you know, how they deal with that will be their issue. But, I mean, as a football coach, I know Coach Browse is a good guy.
Okay. So, what I want to do is ask you if there's anything over there specifically that you wanted to cover for us. Okay, I kind of halfway did it. So, what I'm going to do now is I want to bring up the fact that I appreciate everyone going to my website, fatlarrypodcast.com, fatlarrypodcast.com. These are the t-shirts that we have available. Go to fatlarrypodcast.com and help us out. You know, we got different colors and sizes. Also, we have the hoodies that we just got. And as I was telling a friend, the kids wear hoodies when it's 90 degrees. So I don't know how they do it, Coach, but they do. It'd be 90 degrees, be walking down the street, they got a hood on their head. So we have the hoodies also that are available. And I want to thank Coach Wilson for spending some of his valuable time with us. And as I told everyone earlier, if you're in one of these cities that these games are going to be played this upcoming weekend, go out and support one of your HBCUs. You know, it won't do anything but help us. And when I say us, you know, I'm HBCU all the way through, not just the SWAC. So I'd like to thank everyone for watching the show today. And I hope that everyone has a good weekend. Until the next time, peace out.